Hello, welcome to Indiana Arts Desk. I'm Marcus Jackman. Coming up tonight, a local high school color guard heads to state competition and the arts calendar. But first... That's Dr. Leon Harshenin of Taylor University. He is joining Indiana Arts Desk now in the studio. Leon, thanks a lot for being here.
Oh, my pleasure.
Now, that is the opening to a piece that you'll be playing this weekend with the Marion Philharmonic. What is that?
That's correct. It's Beethoven's Choral Fantasy, Opus 80.
Being a fairly uneducated layman in musical terms, when I think Beethoven, I don't think of that playful tone.
Well, it's interesting because fantasy meaning sort of out of your imagination, and this opening mood is supposed to be one of improvisation, as if I'm just making it up as I go along. The first performance, actually, he had not written any of this down, this opening solo piano part, and he literally improvised it and wrote it down later. So we'll never know exactly how close his performance was to what he wrote down later, but it has to have that feel of fantasy.
And it set the tone for the rest of the piece. What does the rest of the piece involve?
The rest of the piece is really variations around a theme that he took from one of his own songs, written in about 1795. This choral fantasy is from 1808. Would you like to hear that theme?
Please do.
Okay. This is the piano's first statement of it.
You can hear almost some of the, not a childhood song, but you can hear that playful nursery rhyme kind of feel in that theme.
Exactly. It's a very simple tune. It's very stepwise. It's not leaping around. It's somewhat repetitive. The phrase structure is sort of A prime, B, and then A prime comes back. And there's a very close resemblance to the theme of the Ninth Symphony, the Ode to Joy, which is the same structure. Phrase A. Ends with a question, phrase A prime. Ends with the answer, phrase B is something different. And the fourth phrase is phrase A prime again. And that melody also is mostly made up of steps. And very simple harmonies as well. So it is very folky, very childlike.
What is your favorite part about this particular enterprise, this work, this night, this collaboration? What has been the most appealing part?
Wow, that is a tough question. There are many, many wonderful moments. It sort of lives in the shadow of the Ninth Symphony, which came later. The choral fantasy was very popular in its day, before the Ninth Symphony came along. And there are many, many wonderful moments. But I would have to say, I think the greatest moment is when I sort of lead into the full blast chorus. It's after the spot I just played. And I'll just play the last phrase that leads into it. I end with this scale that just goes up. And nothing in my part after that scale, but in the orchestra part and the chorus, they come in fortissimo. And it's funny rehearsing that part because I have to imagine them coming in. It sounds ridiculous because the scale just sort of ends and then there's silence. But in the performance, of course, it'll be an explosion. So here's how that phrase ends. You know, I can't help singing it when I'm practicing. But I can't
See,
wait for the
right now you're being forced to live like the rest of us live, where we're all the time we're just imagining how the orchestra is supporting our lives, or the chorus singing behind us will always sound. That's me every day.
Oh,
I don't even.
okay.
Well, Leon Harshenin, thank you very much for joining us here in the studio. And Saturday, 7:30, Indiana Wesleyan University Philippi Performing Arts Center with the Marion Philharmonic and the Taylor Chorale.
That's correct. And thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Tune in the 6 o'clock hour to hear Dr. Harshenin's entire interview. Arts Desk will be starting a little early, and it'll run a little long.